taste the food from the restaurant to pair with each one of those wines, and we have a great time doing it. We talk about the wines, we talk about the food, talk about the restaurant, and of course that's about it.
All on CRN. Don't miss it.
Welcome to Divine Love Talk with Dr. Parthenia Grant, where we talk about health, well-being, and the love of the divine that exists in all of us. Now, here's your host, Dr. Parthenia Grant.
Hi there, it's Dr. Sarah Larsen, and I am so excited to be on air with you today. And in studio, I have my darling, amazing husband, and Greg Larsen. We went to see an incredible movie this weekend, and Inside Out is the movie that we just went to see, and we're going to share with you today why we love this movie and what we got out of it. Forbes said, Inside Out isn't just a kids movie, just like all the best kids movies and certainly all of Pixar's best. Inside Out works just as well, if not better, for adults. And we so enjoyed Inside Out, and so we're going to share with you what we got and some of the highlights. Welcome, Greg Larsen.
Thank you, Dr. Sarah Larsen.
We have so much fun on air together and pretty much anywhere in life. And we were cracking up and laughing so hard. We live in Los Angeles. We have this great experience of getting to see the movies that we want to and choose to. I've been to the Oscars a couple of times. So movies are pretty important in our lives. And this movie, we have yet to do a show about movies, and we're like, oh my God, we've got to do this one. What do you love, and what do you want to start off with?
Well, as we were discussing, on the way here to the station, it was so nice to see, a movie that's going to have such a far reach because it's Pixar, and all these movies are great that they do, but it really, I think, was so instrumental in showing kids, not only kids but adults. I learned, some things, or some things where it came together a bit better about how we are emotional beings. That's just part of our makeup. So it's not about stuffing that or denying that or saying, one emotion like joy is better than another's sadness. It's actually all of these can come together, and when they're balanced and when they're understood, and there's ways to nurture children through experiencing their emotions, it's a better outcome if we can nurture them. So I thought the film did a great job, showing kids what an emotional life is, and none of the emotions are bad. It's just recognizing that they're there. And then if you have the love and support of people around you, whether it's your parents or grandparents or teachers, whatever that is, they can help you embrace your emotional being so you can live the best life possible.
So this beautiful story, this beautiful teaching that occurs in the movie, I think one of the things that happens at Pixar movies, and generally all great movies, is I have an emotional reaction. I'm laughing, I'm crying. And we have an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old. We have a 20-year-old that attended with us. And Tuscany, our friend's daughter, 15-year-old, all of us just in tears, all of us laughing, all of us processing this movie together. And one of the amazing things is it did have an effect on me as well. It taught me how to process. And I think of myself such an emotionally responsible person. Most of my life I've said, it doesn't matter what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. And this is something we teach our kids. And what was really profound in this movie about a young girl named Riley that is from the Midwest, and the movie starts out with her moving to San Francisco. And it's this energy we can get inside of her head, this energy of being able to see sort of what's happening through her eyes and then what's happening in her brain. As a doctor, as someone who really enjoys science and the breakdown of how and why things happen, we get to see into Riley's mind the primary emotions: joy, fear, anger, disgust, and sadness. And at some point, we're going to play a little clip in one of the parts of this. But this was so profound, even for me, to have access to sadness in such a way. One of the things that I like to look at emotions as the colors of the rainbow. And whenever we're experiencing emotion, sometimes we'll say joy is better than anger, or don't express that. Often, a lot, especially myself, I was taught that growing up, not to display certain emotions. And it's like asking the rainbow not to display one of its colors, or teaching ourselves to resist showing up as one of those colors. What this movie really shows, why all the colors of your emotion, all the colors of the rainbow are important to express. And I think for parents and for children, it gives them a deeper understanding.
Truly, yeah. And the movie has this. The setup is they move, and there's a new school, a new home, a new city. When she went from being rural in Minnesota to right in urban San Francisco, so there's all these big shifts.
So the country girl moves to the city, country life, lots of space, to cramped quarters in San Francisco. That's
right. And so there's this situation is she's forced into this new experience, and then she's going she's 10 years old, so she's right on this verge of being a child and having all these happy, joyous memories, which the emotions joy, which is in her mind. This character of joy is crafting everything, so all the memories that are stored and all the key memories that are in this sacred chamber, they're all memories of joy, and she's working uber hard to manage sadness and anger and fear and disgust, so that those emotions don't become part of her long-term memory or her core memories. Those are joyful ones. But as the movie progresses, and as we see this young girl go from childhood and all these precious joyful memories into a richer experience, which is adolescence, we see as joy comes to this realization that these other emotions are who we really are also. And so, the movie, she's fighting because as the movie progresses, its sadness is starting to touch memories, but as sadness touches memories, then it takes away from the full joy of that was there, and starts coloring the memories in a way that sadness would color those. And so she's fighting so hard to keep this from happening, and in the end, it makes me tear up a little bit already as I'm talking about it. Sadness comes to this realization, or joy comes to this realization that without sadness, life isn't as full.
That you've got to experience the full range of emotions.
That's
and
right.
As you're tearing up, I've got the feeling this was the movie helped me process the loss of my grandfather, which this is the first Father's Day that I've spent without my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such an emotion, and quite often I allow myself to feel the full extent of joy in my life. I will feel deep, deep layers of fear, and I will process those beautifully. But I recognized in this movie, and especially after seeing the movie and going through a couple days of letting sadness come in, this was Father's Day, and it's my first Father's Day coming in without my beloved grandfather. And I processed so much of the sadness that I hadn't allowed myself to feel or given myself permission to feel. And this is as someone that works with emotions and colors, so many deep layers. I let myself go and process and move through that. One of the things that I teach, and I didn't recognize it until I allowed, and quite possibly because the movie drew out so many childhood memories of my own. It connected me to the moves that I made in my life. It connected me to so many facets of core feelings that I got to mourn and cry. And I recognized in the holiday that I had a few more tears to cry about my grandfather and his passing and that emotion. And so if we've got 32 tears to cry about a situation and we've only let ourselves have 20, there is a process that happens in our body that I know leads to dis-ease when those emotions aren't processed. We're so blessed to be living in this century, in this time where we've recognized the mind-body-spirit connection. Mm-hmm. And we have great directors like Pete Docter, Ronaldo Del Carne, that they're the directors and the writers and the storytellers in this, and great actors that go in and share this story so beautifully so we can learn by osmosis, by watching this movie, by relating how to express our emotions. Instead of just crying the 12 tears, I got to cry out the 32 and process this part. And I love how emotional you are, and you share yourself so openly. When you're singing your rock and roll songs or out performing, you'll let the tears flow through. Your song, Better Friends, has made such a difference in so many lives because it gives that emotion of loving your father and wanting a better relationship with that. What else would you like? What else do emotions, how do they play in your, as a strong Midwestern Norwegian rock and roll star man, how does that come through for you?
Well, I think, being Norwegian or Scandinavian, there is a tendency to, stuff emotions or not display emotions or squash your emotions, whatever that is. And so that was what, as the movie progressed and it came towards the end, when the girl, we'll talk about the movie and hopefully it doesn't spoil it if you haven't seen it yet, but, she's facing all these emotions because joy and sadness are through this, situation. They're ejected from the primary control center, and all that's left is fear and anger and disgust. And so because she's having a hard time connecting with people at her new school, she, isn't performing as well in the hockey team, and where she was a star at the hockey team back in Minnesota. And the place where they lived, their furniture got lost. So they had their home wasn't warm and cozy. It was this, all just bare rooms, bare walls, and
all the core needs were not being met.
Yeah. So she, her plan was to run away. She wanted, where were the happy thoughts? The happy thoughts were in Minnesota, where she left all this happy thoughts behind. So her plan was to run away. And then as she's going through this journey of running away, joy and sadness make it back to the control room. And so then she has this kind of like awakening. So she jumps off the bus and goes home. And again, I'm going to tear because it was, she goes home. Her parents are just because they're so worried. And when she was really allowed to express her sadness and feel this deep love, that's when this new evolution happened. And she entered into joy again because she was able to deeply experience sadness.
We are going to play a clip from the movie when we come back, and we're going to discuss even more what it's like to live from the inside out. We're talking about the new movie by Pixar, Inside Out. My guest is Greg Larsen, singer, songwriter, Better Friends, and lover extraordinaire, my husband. This is Dr. Sarah Larsen. We will be right back with more of Divine Love Talk. Thank you so much.
For all of you out there who've already signed up for Rite Aid's new Wellness Plus with Plenty card, we'd like to say thanks a million. Actually, thanks millions with an S. Because to date, Plenty members have earned millions of dollars worth of Plenty points, which can be used for savings at Rite Aid and certain Plenty partners. So get in, get your new card, and get online to finish signing up at Plenty.com. Then use your points for savings today with Wellness Plus with Plenty at Rite Aid. With us, it's personal. Terms and conditions apply. Learn more at Plenty.com.
When you really want Italian food, you've got to go to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. If you haven't been to Columbo's, you don't know what you're missing. Delicious food. The steaks on this side are fabulous. The seafood so fresh and flavorful. Columbo's family Italian specialties are Southern California legendary, and the meatballs, the best in the West, North, South, and East. Plus service that's friendly but not fawning. And jazz every night, and it's also affordable. That's what makes Columbo special. And they make special easy, whether for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. That's why when you really want Italian food, you've got to go to Columbo's. Because it really is that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, making special easy every day. Columbo's, mangia.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
My name is Larry Elder, also known as the Sage from South Central Los Angeles. Join me weekdays right here on CRN Digital Talk at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. I will engage political and cultural leaders in meaningful debate over race, government, personal responsibility, and education. I'm a fiscal conservative, social liberal, and my views have fueled controversy with the most in-demand radio personalities and cable pundits all across the country. So join me, Larry Elder, right here on CRN Digital Talk weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific.
And we are back. I'm in studio with Greg Larsen, the singer-songwriter of Better Friends, which is a beautiful song and a beautiful book that really connects the desire of a child to be better friends with his or her father. There's a great video online, Better Friends, your Facebook page. All of them make reference to this. As a man that processes emotions so beautifully, our kids know how loved they are by you. Our friends quite often say he wears his heart on his sleeve, and you grew up Midwestern, where this wasn't shown or processed or shared. Can you tell us what it's like for you, how you came to this?
The grace of God, I think. I would say that, when I was growing up, I was, and when I compare myself to the other boys, I was probably more of an emotional, so I already had that wiring coming into this experience. But experiencing life very emotional, I remember being very embarrassed by that because, when something would happen, instead of, being super angry and violent, maybe, or whatever that is, it would make me tear up. It would. And I thought, oh my God, that's the worst thing, to be in these situations when I should be, pulling out a sword and bashing somebody. I was in tears and choked up, really. And so it was always such a source of embarrassment. And, I don't know if my parents really knew how to coach me through that. So what I'm trying to get at is when I watch a movie like this and I see our 8-year-old son, Tyler, and Jasmine, who's 10, it's like, I want them, because my son, Tyler, he's very similar to me. He's an emotionally wired boy. And so I just want to be able to coach them, in a way that allows them to honor who they are, to experience their emotions, but still live a very, courageous and, on purpose, intentional life, so they can, have a full experience of life and not experience life being shut down emotionally because you're disgusted with yourself or you're embarrassed because of this or that. So I want them to be fully expressed. So it was fun to have a movie that kind of, so we don't have to like preach at them and say, you should be more, whatever that is.
Yeah.
It's a movie that kind of shows this happening. And we even asked our son, this is from the girl's experience. Riley is a 10-year-old girl, so she's a little bit, she's emotional and she experiences stuff like that. So I said, what if it was a boy? What would have happened? I forget what his response was, but it wasn't, as like that. So, they chose a girl because the girls are allowed to be more emotional and to experience this deep sadness, which her parents were able to show her love and support.
And the parents were played by Diane Lane and Frank Oz, and it was such a rich experience of voices. Even Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, had a role, and it's such a rich thing to have these cartoon characters with in-depth voices and a reach into understanding. Our son, what it gave him and what I think it will give every man and boy is a deeper and richer understanding of women and of young ladies, of that element to understand there's many different emotions behind the scenes that can pop up. And it showed so beautifully the role that the father's command center, the mother's command center. And I believe in the next segment we're going to play for you the clip that really highlights some of, and we'll probably be laughing quite a bit about it. What is the first thing that you would tell a man or a young boy that would identify with, say, might be a little bit more sensitive or emotions come through first? What's the first thing that what would you share with them?
Well, I think what the movie was able to do in the end is that, because it's challenging as a parent to deal with your child's emotions. No one wants to deal with the tantrum and no one wants to see their child sad. We're all, we want to, do whatever we can to distract them from that and try and make them feel happy. And so, we'll have to talk about this more as we come back from break. Yeah. But I mean, what the parents did in the movie was they engaged their child. You have to be your child's advocate. You have to. And
also for yourself, you have to be your emotions advocate, whatever is coming down the pipeline.
Well, when you're 10, it's a little hard to do. So
right.
It was really
as a child, but as an adult, when we have these emotions, just recognize and naming that emotion. This might be anger coming up, or this might be fear, or this is sadness, and giving that a name. We'll talk more about that as we come back. Thank you for joining us. This is Dr. Sarah Larsen. This is Divine Love Talk. We've got in studio Greg Larsen, and we're talking about Inside Out.
Located in the heart of Maui's premier resort, Kaanapali Beach Hotel is officially recognized as Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel and the #1 best value in Hawaii. With a range of accommodations and affordable dining options, this is the ideal setting to turn Hawaiian dreams into lifelong memories. Live Hawaiian entertainment every evening, free year-round children's programs, weekly arts and crafts fairs, welcome breakfast, and departure kukui lei ceremonies add to the value. Swim in the whale-shaped pool, indulge in the fabulous spa and hotel salon. Enjoy Hawaiian hospitality at its best at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Call 800-262-8450 or go to kbhmaui.com. That's kbhmaui.com. Aloha.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
Have you ever considered adding a home security system but thought it would be too expensive? Here's the good news. There's never been a more affordable time to help protect your home, valuables, and your loved ones. You can now get a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, with the installation of a new ADT monitored system. Here's even better news. Your new system, worth $850, is free. You pay just a $99 installation charge and purchase monthly monitoring for less than $2 a day. Call Protect Your Home today at 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. Get the peace of mind that comes with owning an ADT monitored system, plus a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home. Call now, 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. 36-month monitoring contract required. General terms and conditions apply. Visit protectyourhome.com/terms.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
Really? Yeah.
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call or go online to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-471-5173, 800-471-5173.
A few days ago, Brooke Tudine posted an inspirational quote on her wall that got 17 likes and 3 comments. Thumbs up, Brooke. Geico also wants to make a comment. In just 15 minutes, you could save hundreds of dollars on your car insurance by switching to Geico. And nothing says inspiration better than saving money. Well, except for those posters that say things like teamwork, excellence, and make it happen. Hashtag keep climbing. Hashtag savings.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
In Arizona, all of your mortgage needs can be handled by Advanced Capital Mortgage. Looking for a reverse mortgage, refinance, new purchase, or just to streamline FHA and HARP? Our rates are great with dozens of lending solutions. Call 855-437-8421. 855-437-8421. Advanced Capital Mortgage. MBO 919083 and MLS 716936.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Sarah Larsen, and you are listening to Divine Love Talk. We are in studio with the fabulous and wonderful Greg Larsen. We are talking about Inside Out, and we're going to play a clip very soon, in probably the next 10 seconds, from this beautiful movie, Inside Out. We want you to experience what we experienced in the movie. We want you to know what it's like to walk through Riley's mind and to carry these beautiful emotions that she has given subconsciously in her control center, has been given access to, and we've been given access through Pixar, through the creators of this movie, a great understanding of what it's like to be a young girl, to be human, to experience all these different aspects. And so, without further ado, here is a clip of the movie.
So, how was the first day of school?
It was fine, I guess. I don't know. Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Did you guys pick up on that?
Sure did.
Something's wrong. We're going to find out what's happening, but we'll need support. Signal the husband.
With a nice pass over the Reed, comes across center ice.
Uh-oh, she's looking at us. What did she say?
What? Oh, sorry, sir. No one was listening.
Is it garbage night? We left the toilet seat up. What? What is it, woman? What?
Signal him again.
Ah, so
Riley, how was school?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
For this, we gave up that Brazilian helicopter pilot?
And so often our beautiful, beautiful mind and beautiful, beautiful connection to every moment plays out like this. We heard Diane Lane, we heard Frank Oz and Amy Poehler. Just so beautiful to hear Diane Lane's control center. Frank Oz, the husband, signal the husband. Right now I'm signaling my husband to respond to this clip.
Well, this was, even though it was a fun segment, it was the only time we really heard the voices of the inner voices, or the voices of the inner emotions for the mom and the dad. It was such a small part of the movie, unfortunately. But I mean, obviously, there's a lot of humor there, and it includes the characters. But most of the film is the girl, and this showing this wonderful world of how memories are created, and how memories are stored, and how memories that are colored by joy, those were valued, and how memories that were colored by sadness were, trying to be kept away, in these younger years, because we all want to have these core memories that are so powerful. So even though that was a fun segment and it, played up to these stereotypes, I think, of the parents or men and women.
Which many times at our dinner table, I will look over at my husband and do signal the husband. And my husband will very often come up with whatever response he thinks is necessary, and it becomes really evident how much his mind was with the Minnesota Golden Gophers versus this beautiful access to, it's really such a profound moment for what it gives the parents, for the mom, and truly, in my mind, I say, and I gave up the neurosurgeon for this in my mind as well. And it comes through in such a beautiful way, because there is so much reality in every part that's shared. And this segment that we got to see, where the daughter, she has already in this moment, tuned out the energies that are the emotions, joy and sadness are lost, basically. Yeah, they are lost in the subconscious. They're lost in the mind. And this happens so often with our children, so often in friendship, and only the primary emotions of fear, of anger, and in her case, disgust remain. My husband doesn't have a huge disgust component, but we were talking about how certain friends have a real interior voice around that, have that personality aspect of a character that comes out of them when they're truly disgusted. On the deepest level, this movie talks about and shows the workings of the brain in a way that children and adults can understand. When joy and sadness are no longer available, then these other character aspects come up. They're really running the command center. And every response that the mom tries to elicit from the daughter, that the father tries to elicit, only have these three emotions, fear, and the personalities of Riley, the lead character, begin to fall away. She has a fun zone. She has a family zone, a friend zone. And she can often choose her responses from going back into those parts of her brain that she often accessed. And this is what I believe happens with us. When we are triggered, when we are so flooded by our emotions, then we no longer have these different lands, these different personalities, these different places to go through within ourselves and access responses, access personality traits. Access joyful connection or sad. Joy and sadness connects us to the infinite way of being with one another. If we want to connect with someone and we express our own sadness, it's often a way that we connect. If we truly want to bring and experience a deeper layer, we can dive into joy and create more joy, or create from one of those aspects of our personality. When Riley, the lead, was so emotionally flooded that she didn't have access to any of her emotion, joy or sadness, she then only had fear, disgust, and anger left. Mm-hmm. When they were at the command center, aspects of her personality fell away. And I look at that, and I look at, it gave me access, seeing it from the inside out, for people when they're angry, when they're fearful, or when they're disgusted, to look for and possibly share either one of my joy-filled stories that just tugs or nudges on their hearts, or one of my sad ways, one of the things that I think they might be experiencing, to share one of those stories, to allow access, allow connection. What I love that little segment did was it opened the doors of perception. It showed the mother's perception. It showed the father's perception. And in that brief clip, it showed Riley not being clear perception. And it reminds me of what the poet William Blake said, and is quite often quoted by the Doors and in movies in various ways. But William Blake said, if the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is. Everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. For man has closed himself up till he sees all things through narrow chicks of his cavern. And that the narrowness of our cavern is quite often the caverns of our mind. So I'd love for you to add just what your insights are as we're talking.
Yeah, I'm hearing all this from you, but you know, I just feel continually pulled back to this experience of the little girl. And since we're adults having an adult conversation, you know, how do adults respond? Because in that little segment we heard from the movie, we don't hear the end of this, but at the end, you know, they're sitting at the dinner table and they're having these conversations. The mom can tell something's wrong with the daughter because she had a bad day. It's the first day of school, whatever it was. And then in the end, the daughter starts expressing anger. And then the father, you know, again, these are stereotypes. He sends her up to her room with no dinner. You know, if you're going to have emotions like that, you're done for. Go away and you know, don't be in our presence. And Sarah and I, we have a very different approach with our kids, which follows this ideology of, and this teaching of attachment parenting, where if there's an experience like this, that's when you really pay attention. That's when you really, you know, step up for your children or your child and allow them to go through those emotions. And, you know, even if you have to sometimes say, I can see you're feeling sad. Are you feeling sad because of this? Did you have something, you know, work with them through this? So instead of disengaging as a parent, you engage them. And this is what happens at the end of the movie. At the end of the movie, when she comes back after running away, there was no, you know, this disgusts me, get up to your room again. It wasn't that at all. It was like they fully embraced her. They like knelt down to her level. They surrounded her. They embraced her. They loved her. And that's so beautiful that for anyone out there that loves an emotional woman, an emotional man, a child, it comes back to really deep listening and engaging more of your personality,
more of yourself to be able to listen deeply. And so when someone is expressing deep layers of emotion, to really come through and say, wow, I can see that you pounded a specific aspect of the behavior. So if she pounded her fist on the table at the dinner table, to say, wow, I noticed your fist went down. What do you think that was about? What's going on there? 'Cause I really care. I can see. And whatever is shared from attachment parenting and nonviolent parenting and Gandhi parenting aspects, they say, help your child, help the person that's with you feel felt.
Feel felt.
That's exactly what was happening throughout the movie with us. We were feeling what she was feeling. The movie helps us understand and feel at deep, deep layers and levels. And what I love about this is once you see it and once you begin processing it, once you name it, and we can only name ourselves. Like, there was a part of me that for a long time struggled with feeling worthy. And so I labeled that aspect of my personality myself. And I would label that, the one that felt unworthy, I would call her Smelly Shelly. Whatever, Smelly Shelly aspect of my personality would try and keep me safe by saying, did you put on enough deodorant? Do you have enough makeup on? Smelly Shelly would self-sabotage me in order to keep me safe. And once I named my inner fear of not being good enough, this name, I had power over her to be able to respond and whenever Smelly Shelly would come up and be like, oh my God, you can't go to this fabulous party. There's Oscar winners or there's this or that. Who are you to show up to this fabulous event? In the past, my Smelly Shelly might keep me, might make an excuse. I have to do work. I have to prepare for this. Whereas as soon as I named and felt this aspect of myself, today I can go to any party with anyone present, and as long as I've nurtured myself enough, to me the external doesn't matter as much. My unworthiness doesn't get triggered. I can go talk to anyone. And at the last Oscars, I was talking to Michael Keaton. I spoke to Nicole Kidman. And 10 years ago, that would have been really terrifying. My inner dialogue would have said, who am I to go talk to these fabulous people? Or be just inches away from Oprah. I would have not responded in my life from that place. As soon as I named that aspect of my personality, I had power over it. And because I can only come from my own perception and command center, every time I allowed myself to feel more felt and more connected with, I would then make it possible to recognize other people's different aspects and personalities. We've got just a few more. What are some of the inner personalities that you have?
That's a very long story.
And we will come back after break and we will talk about some of the masculine and more about inside and out. More from Greg Larsen and myself, Dr. Sarah Larsen, on Divine Love Talk. We really want you to know yourself, to know your personalities, and to be able to direct yourself to be who you want to be at all times. That's what we're here on Divine Love Talk to do, to give you more skills into yourself to live the fabulous life that you're here to live. And we'll be back after the break.
Homeowners, now is the season to be thinking about your roof, because all it takes is one storm to turn a small roof problem into a major leak. If it's time for a new roof, call Sears at 888-465-9720. You can save $500 if you call right now. Sears licensed fully insured contractors can get your roofing job done right. Just call 888-465-9720. Sears has a variety of shingles and styles that are built for long-lasting performance, and you'll save $500 if you call now. So call Sears for a free in-home consultation at 888-465-9720. Hurry, offer ends soon. Not available in all areas. Installation provided by Sears authorized licensed contractors. License information available upon request. That's Sears Roofing. Call right now and save $500. Call 888-465-9720. 888-465-9720. Call Sears now and get that roof repaired. Call 888-465-9720.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Are you nearing eligibility for Medicare benefits? Then you know now is an important time in your life. Medicare benefits can be a complicated puzzle. You don't want to overpay for your Medicare coverage or get the wrong plan. Let Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. With one free phone call, a licensed insurance agent will help you select a Medicare plan that's right for you and your budget. If you're becoming eligible for Medicare, call today and learn how to get the most out of your benefits.
800-793-1960. 800-793-1960.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA or assumed name of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is an authorized insurance agency in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service and product availability varies by state.
Call 800-793-1960. 800-793-1960. 800-793-1960. 800-793-1960.
And we're back, and I will label one of Greg's personalities as pure love. He is love in the moment, and everything goes back. When all his needs are met, this is the primary that works through, and he's this big bear of a man that just loves so deeply children. And I know you had a great, this Inside Out movie really hit chords with us. What do you want to share about that?
Well, as we've been touching on, throughout the show, it really is, because it just reminds me of our own journey. When we first had kids, it was like, oh, they're just kids. Then as you grow as a parent, as you see your children grow and then advance through different stages of life, and going from the joys and sadness that a 2-year-old experiences are very different from the joys and sadness that a 10-year-old experiences. So it's just, and through what we've learned, it's just so important to be an advocate for your child and to engage your child. And even though it's a lot more work to engage them, instead of sending them off to the room or putting them in quiet time or whatever they that's called, it's like it's our responsibility to raise the leaders of tomorrow, the scientists of tomorrow, the artists of tomorrow who will create a richer human experience. It's our responsibility as parents to fully engage in our child's emotional life so that they can integrate that in a more functional way, So our kids don't grow up being dysfunctional and shut down and despondent. They grow up being vibrant and alive and engaged and fully expressing their potential, which is so, to me, is so desperately needed these days.
It's so beautiful that you share Inside Out is not just a kids movie. It's great for adults as well. Great for anyone that works with children. Yeah. And what comes through the voices of Caitlin Diaz, Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, Bill Hader, Lewis Black, and Mindy Kaling is this deep, rich connection to ourselves. And this deep connection to ourselves allows us to access layers of memory that we might have forgotten, a deep layer of friendship with ourselves. And it is the availability, it becomes a commonplace for us to talk with children. I wonder what a generation of kids raised with fully being allowed to express their emotions would create in the world. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's happening through these great movies. I think as a society with movies that show up like this, that let us access ourselves and the next generation and the opposite sex at deeper layers, I think it's great for us to go and bring that into conversations at work and make it possible for us to say, yes, I'm listening. Or in this movie, I saw joy acting and sometimes sadness acting. What do you think is causing you to share this way if you had to give a label to your inner voices?
Yeah, I think every fourth grade class across America should be watching this movie and having a powerful discussion with the adults in their schools or in their churches, whatever it is, about what it is to, what these emotions are and how, how we're here to support you, navigate through these, because this is such an important topic to be fully functional with your emotions.
And so we are going to take our kids and probably some of our neighbors this time to go see this beautiful movie, Inside Out. I want to really thank Pixar and the makers of this movie for having the courage to make a movie like this that will have an impact for generations to come.
We hope so, yeah.
Greg Larsen, thank you for being on air. Thank you for being my husband. Thank you for helping me be able to express myself at deeper layers and levels.
Ditto. Love you.
Love you too. And we will see you next time.
Which was most appropriate because that was your theme.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing. Catch your favorite political hosts like Dennis Prager, Tom Hartman, Barry Farber, and so many more. Entertainment and lifestyle programming like The Robert Conrad Show, The What's Cooking Show, and The What's Cooking on Wine Show